A British boxer has died after being rushed to hospital moments after he appeared in pain during a post-fight interview which he ended with the words, "I'm glad we could put on a show and keep everyone entertained." Scott Westgarth, 31, had earned a win on points over 10 sometimes brutal rounds against Dec Spellman on Saturday, during which both men were knocked down on the canvas. The light heavyweight was holding his head and wincing in a post-fight interview and stumbled to the back of the dome in Doncaster before paramedics took him to hospital. He died at the Royal Hallamshire Hospital last night, prompting tributes from boxing legends including Frank Bruno, Ricky Hatton, as well as British fighter James DeGale and promoter Eddie Hearn, speaking to boxing news site and streaming service Boxing Social after the fight. Westgarth praised his opponent and said he could see why he had won 11 professional bouts in a row, and he added, "He's a good fighter and I can see why he was 11-0. But at the end of the day I wanted it just as much as he wanted it, and ultimately I box away all the time. I'm used to that pressure, whether it's an 11-0 kid, 7-0 kid, I'm not really bothered. I'll box anyone, I just enjoy it. I do it for fun, not because I think I'm going to be a world-class fighter. I just do it purely for entertainment, and I'm glad we can put on a show and keep everybody entertained," Westgarth told boxing news site and streaming service Boxing Social after winning the fight. "I think I controlled the fight. He was loading up all the time, throwing big bombs. It's hard sometimes. You're going to get caught, aren't you? Fair play to Dec. I think it's a good job I've got a good chin really, otherwise he would have seen me away. He's a good fighter and I can see why he was 11-0. But at the end of the day I wanted it just as much as he wanted it, and ultimately I box away all the time. I'm used to that pressure, whether it's an 11-0 kid, 7-0 kid, I'm not really bothered. I'll box anyone, I just enjoy it. I do it for fun, not because I think I'm going to be a world-class fighter. I just do it purely for entertainment, and I'm glad we can put on a show and keep everybody entertained." Former Sheffield United captain and ex-British champion Curtis Woodhouse was due to face John Wayne Hibbert in the headline fight, but this was postponed and then cancelled. Westgarth's promoter, Stefan Bull, confirmed the tragic news on social media this morning. He said, "God bless Scott Westgarth. To promote a boxing show and a young man doing a job he loves losing his life, I have no words. R.I.P. lad. Thoughts go out to your family and your team. It's been the hardest few days I've had to endure. No idea what to do moving forward." Woodhouse wrote on Twitter, "Heartbreaking news about Scott Westgarth. R.I.P. champ." And his opponent, Spellman, wrote, "Absolutely heartbroken and lost for words. I'll continue to pray for Scott's family and the people close to him. Rest easy, my friend." Westgarth, who was trained in Sheffield by Glyn Rhodes and lives in Penistone but is originally from the northeast, was knocked down on the ropes just before the bell of round 10. He had a girlfriend, Natalie, who he praised in a social media post on January 26th. Her birthday. Westgarth wrote, "Just wanna say happy birthday to this beauty, been absolutely amazing, just over 10 years together. Can't wait to see what adventures we have in store coming you." Underneath the post, one friend wrote, "Popping the question, a GoFundMe page has been set up to help raise funds for his family, where the total amount raised currently stands at just below £1,000 following Westgarth's death. The British Boxing Board of Control, BBBOFC, insisted safety in the sport had improved despite Saturday's tragic outcome. "We are one of the most forward-thinking commissions in the world regarding medical aspects," General Secretary of the BBBOFC, Robert Smith, said. "Some people don't like us because they say we are too strict. This is a tough sport and we try to make it as safe as possible, but you can't make it 100% safe. That doesn't take away from the fact that this is a disaster. But more importantly, it's a disaster for his family, and that's the most important thing." Canada's Tim Hague was the last professional boxer to die following a fight. He passed away 2 days after a bout in June last year. Scottish boxer Mike Towell also died from a brain injury after a fight in September 2016. Westgarth, who had no amateur boxing career, worked as a ski instructor before starting boxing at the age of 24. Westgarth, from Penistone, worked as a chef at Sheffield's Royal Victoria Holiday Inn, and his victory meant he was 1 win away from becoming the English light heavyweight champion. He won 7 of his 10 professional bouts and had inflicted the first defeat of Spellman's career. The death of Scott Westgarth after a bout on Saturday is the latest in a series of tragedies to rock the boxing world. These have led to demands for more safety regulations and sparked furious debates on the use of protective gear such as helmets. In October 2016, Scottish boxer Mike Towell died in hospital after a fight at the St Andrews Sporting Club in Glasgow. He had severe bleeding and a swelling on the brain. Michael Norgrove, 32, died in April 2013 after suffering a hemorrhage at a fight in Blackfriars, London, against Tom Bowen. James Murray, 25, from Lanarkshire, died in October 1995 after a brain bleed and seizure. Bradley Stone, 23, collapsed hours after a bout and developed a fatal blood clot on his brain. Steve Watt, 27, from Glasgow, died in March 1986 after developing long-term brain damage. Welsh fighter Johnny Owen, 24, passed away more than a month after a bout left him unconscious. Lynn James, 21, was the first recorded British boxer to die after a fight. In 1964, former WBC champion of the world Frank Bruno MBE wrote, "Very saddened to hear a boxer has lost his life. My thoughts are with his family at this difficult time. R.I.P. Scott Westgarth." Multiple world champion Ricky Hatton MBE wrote, "Heartbreaking this. Thoughts to his friends and family and to anyone involved in the show. Rest in peace young man X." Audley Harrison MBE wrote, "Saddened to hear of boxer Scott Westgarth passing after his fight on Saturday. Prize fighting is the noble art, but the price the fighters pay for that privilege is a tough burden to bear in moments like this. R.I.P." Middleweight boxer Martin Murray tweeted, "So sad to hear the news of Scott Westgarth. Thinking of his family and friends. Such a cruel sport at times, and this is why every person who steps through them ropes to fight deserves respect. RIPCHAMPX. Promoter Eddie Hearn said, "Our thoughts and condolences with the family of Scott Westgarth. May he rest in peace." Mark Vader said, "RIP at Scott Westgarth. You were a cheeky chappie who was thought of very highly by your colleagues and friends. You will leave a big void. Thoughts are with your family. So sad." James Hope Gill said, "So sorry to hear that Scott Westgarth has passed away. Devastating news."
Where the freaks at?